Cheers everyone, Warmick here, nice of you to join me. Now, where I'm at may not be the most hospitable place on EO, and in fact I'm pretty sure it's one of the worst places to be at, but there's a reason for it. You see, we'll talk a lot about demons now, and the Rift is sort of infamous for having a lot of them. Well, it had lots of them if you consider the amount of rotting corpses that I've got yet to loot behind me, but anyhow, it has to do with this place being part of where Bargagor used to be. But that will make more sense if you keep watching, which makes for a pretty good segue. I'll see you after the intro. Right, now we all know that demons can be cool. They can look like this, or even this in a lot of games. Well, sadly, most aren't as sexy in SpellForce, unless you're into some pretty weird shit. But not winning the Fantasy Demon Beauty pageant doesn't mean that they don't have a good personality, so we'll just bet on that and do this video anyway. First thing that I should probably explain is how demons are created. As some of you may know, when a being dies, its soul goes to the River of Souls, where it's judged by powerful beings known as guardians. If the soul is good, it gets to rest there forever. If the person was bad, they could potentially come back as an undead. But if they were really bad, and not like, I enjoy messing up my neighbor's garden, but more like I sacrificed my sons to demon lords in a blood ritual in order to gain power, kind of bad, they'll be cast into the essence of the world and become demons. This process is unsurprisingly very subjective and depends a lot on the circumstances a soul has lived under, so it could be that an orc doesn't become a demon for something a human would. There's no checklist for it, and every such case needs to be reviewed manually. With that out of the way, let's mention the history a bit, because not including cultural heritage wouldn't sit right with me. Not because it's a nice thing to do, but YouTube likes longer videos, so here we are. Way back during a time when the Shapers didn't yet control the Archfire, demons started flowing into the world from below a mountain called Bargagor, and no one could really deal with them at that point, so the Guardians had to step in or else the world would be destroyed. The Guardians, in all their wisdom, decided that the best way to solve the issue would be to use their godlike powers and pulverize Bargagor, thus closing all the big passageways the demons used to get to the surface. Now, whether that was the best way to do it, I don't know. It's been a while since I've used my godlike powers, so I'm not the best to judge that. Anyhow, this somewhat stopped the demons, although they still had their ways of getting to the surface via their portals from the underworld, though luckily their number was reduced and they weren't such a massive threat anymore for the time being at least. Then, for the longest time, the demons mostly chilled. They sometimes caused trouble in certain places, often on Fiora, but they could be dealt with fairly easily. That is, until the Circle was founded. You see, after it was established, the Circle needed a sort of HQ, a place from which they could operate. After giving it some thought, they decided that they should build a city for that purpose. This city, later known as Molandir, was built by the Circle Mage Isgrim on the remains of Bargagor, not just because it's a nice place to have a city at, but also because of the demons and the demonic rifts there. Demonology was at that point in time a relatively new and an unexplored type of magic, and every somewhat competent mage wanted to give it a go, so they went to Molandir to study these beautiful bastards right up close. A pioneer of this type of magic, and someone who was particularly interested in demons, was the Circle Mage Uram, who soon became known as the best demonologist on EO. No doubt reaching that title through his skill alone, and not because he had the Archfire and most of the pleb mages kinda didn't. Uram would later go on to use the demons he managed to bring under his control to fight Hokan Ashir, his once fellow Circle Mage, in the Convocation Wars, but it wasn't until he actually managed to get one of the demon lords, Ulatha, under his control that he really had a demon force to be reckoned with. That being said, he was eventually beaten by Hokan's Blaze because, as we all know, metal is stronger than rotting flesh. Basic first grade stuff. There's some more stuff that happened to the demons after all that was over, and I've covered the important parts in this video already, so if you're interested, go check it out. But now we'll move on to the arguably more interesting part of this video, the types of demons that we know of. I already mentioned demon lords, which means that the demons have a sort of hierarchy among them. Demon lords are, to no one's surprise, very powerful demons that tend to have legions of lesser demons at their beck and call when they need them. They are powerful magic users, some of them even being able to transform their appearance. Even though they can hit like a truck, a lot of them try to trick the people of EO into pacts, which almost always end badly for the person doing it. That is, if you consider losing your soul and being tortured for all eternity as something bad. Maybe you don't, I don't judge. The demon lords we've met so far in the games have also shown that they're capable of speech, which means that some of them are pretty intelligent, which isn't exclusive to only them, but a lot of the lesser demons usually act on impulses and instincts rather than thinking about what they're actually doing. Moving one step down, we have the greater demons. In the games, they often look the same as their lesser counterparts, but pack a noticeably heavier punch. Greater demons aren't only bigger, stronger, and can use more advanced magic, they also serve as horde leaders, commanding all the lesser demons around. And speaking of which, the lesser demons are sort of the bottom of the nasty demon chain. They are the backbone of the hordes, the infantry, but also sort of the expendables. While even a lesser demon is strong compared to a regular normal human, they often aren't a challenge for a very skilled fighter, and you can wipe the floor with them pretty easily in most cases. That being said, their strength lies in numbers, and a lot of them will usually mess you up for good. Among the lesser demons, we include a few different types. First off, your standard run-of-the-mill demons that run at you and try to tear you apart with their claws, or sometimes using some very basic magic. Then we have the Succubuses, or Succubi, who are less plentiful than the standard demons, but a lot more dangerous. You see, they will often try to seduce the people with visions and dreams so that they could feast on their flesh. They are often pretty good at magic, specifically fire and mental magic, and while they do have wings on their back, they don't really seem to fly that much. Unlike the next demon on the list, the flying demons. The flying demons are also sort of like those run-of-the-mill demons we mentioned, but with wings, and they tend to attack their prey by sucking the life out of them from the air rather than getting close up and physical. Next up we have the Basilisk, which are just big snake-looking creatures that can be pretty annoying to deal with in-game. They usually just come at you and try to bite your head off, which is a real classic among the demon community, no doubt. At the very end we have gargoyles, different types actually. Gargoyles are demons who have manifested in a sort of vessel, like statues or something similar. They can be strong, but they're kinda the low end of the bunch. Some are capable of magic and some do it really well, but they're also the easiest type of demon to control out of all the ones we've mentioned, which makes them good practice dummies for anyone wanting to dabble into demonology. And with all those out of the way, I'd just like to mention that there are also special types of demons out there, ones that are really strong but have either split from the hordes or are just doing their own thing. One such example is the Fire Angel from Breath of Winter who was guarding the Shadowblade at the behalf of the Field Dark. By the way, did you know that his actual name in the game files is Zul? I didn't until recently. Pretty interesting. You also have these bad boys known as Devourers. A fun fact, they're actually dragons that cannibalize their brethren while alive, and they have turned into this after death because of it. Besides those, there's also examples of powerful demons just running about, feeding on the life energy of its victims. Life on EO is dangerous, and it's always good to keep an eye on your friends because one of them might actually be just leeching the life out of you. If that's the case, best run to your nearest holy ground, because demons are essentially unholy beings and they can't enter those. They have their methods of getting you even if you are on holy ground, but I'll keep that topic for another video. In any case, with all that being said, I hope you learned something new about the demons and their shenanigans. Thank you all so much for watching this video, like it and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!